Hello guys, welcome back to our Anime Explainer. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. Everybody knows the first part. That's to be able to choose whatever opponent you want to engage in battle. The second aspect is more important. Barbata's little face revealed a proud smile. You've seen from that metal book before. You know that you can customize your own opponent, right? Yes. Luo Feng nodded. The second aspect is, you can customize an opponent's basic qualities, spirit reading level, consciousness, techniques, weapons, etc., to be exactly the same as you. The only difference is that the opponent's experience is incomparably more vast, extremely more adept at battle. Barbata said, "Do you understand what I mean?" Luo Feng was shocked, immediately going mad with excitement. Right? If the opponent was himself with great experience and more adept at battling, such an opponent would be a great help to his own battle techniques and experience. After all, he could customize his opponent's body, consciousness and spirit reading level, etc. to be exactly the same. Through this method, you can swiftly absorb experience. Barbata said, "Of course, these two aspects still aren't the most important." Barbata laughed mischievously. Luo Feng held his breath. Just with the two aspects Barbata mentioned, Luo Feng was already extremely excited. How could he better himself? How should he actually fight? He could customize his opponent and analyze. This way, he could swiftly improve his battle techniques, an extremely effective usage, to the strong within the universe, which one of them isn't crafty and clever with an abundance in battle experience. Hence, the biggest thing that draws them here is, the killing fields has an effect of a teacher. Barbata emphasized, teacher. Luo Feng was shocked, right? Barbata nodded. Look, Luo Feng, right now your consciousness level, what's the maximum number of blade pieces you can control? 36. Luo Feng said. The stronger the golden horned beast got, Luo Feng's consciousness level 2 naturally grew with it. Right now the golden horned beast was a star level 7, his consciousness level could control a maximum of 36 knife blades. According to the soaring shuttle's 3 ultimate forms and 9 layers, with an amplitude of 36, you already have the 5th layer's power. But why are you still using a swordfish formation, composed of 30 blade pieces? Barbata questioned. Luo Feng couldn't help but nod. No wonder this killing fields dared to price its usage so high. Barbata, how is this killing fields able to virtually simulate perfectly complete secret techniques? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. The killing fields owner is the Virtual Universe Network Company. Barbata said, over countless years, with countless strong warriors from the vast universe sparring and battling in the virtual universe, the scene and footage from every battle will naturally be recorded by the virtual universe. Hence, the database of the virtual universe is extremely large. It has a wide array of secret techniques. Of course, they are all just skills that were used, not training methods. Barbata explained. Luo Feng nodded. Indeed, just like the Yunmo planet's technique, even if the virtual universe recorded the scene of him unleashing it, without the training manuals, it was still worthless. However, to someone of the same sect training the same techniques, it would have great beneficial properties. Barbata, help me customize a golden horned beast opponent, a star level 1 golden horned beast. Luo Feng shouted. Luo Feng had fully understood the killing field's most important usage, that was to teach himself which direction to take and how to train with the greatest efficiency. This killing fields was the database for the Virtual Universe Network Company, and the Virtual Universe Network Company, as one of the 5 great leviathans of the universe, was much stronger than any empire. The battle scene of a golden horned beast, Luo Feng believed that the Virtual Universe country would definitely have some reserves. I died again. Again. Luo Feng stood in mid-air, looking at the fully black-scaled terrifying golden horned beast, finally understanding its glory and terror. He himself was a star level 1. With an amplitude of 36, and his spirit weapon was very powerful. The golden horned beast too was a star level 1. One side fell. Of course it was himself, same grade and level, for a human to battle and win against a golden horned beast. That's simply an impossible task. Even if a person managed to do it, that person would have to be an occasional absolute genius from trillions of galaxies, even having someone stronger than your teacher to mentor and teach. Barbata said, as for you Luo Feng, your power is rising too quickly, your control of the soaring shuttle is still too raw, even with 10 tries, you'd still be killed. Death. And death again. Luo Feng was killed time and again by the same grade and level golden horned beast. There was actually another reason. Luo Feng had customized this golden horned beast to be incredibly adept at battle. So the golden horned beast is actually that adept at battle. Its wings actually have the feeling of blade technique. The best way to use these scaled wings aren't to smash directly, but to brush and slice past like a blade, and this movement itself allows so much more flexibility. The tail acts like a whip. The tail is indeed the fastest part of the golden horned beast. I've always only used very simple attacks, however this golden horned beast's tail in this killing fields really mimics a whip, suddenly attacking and vibrating the air, causing the space to explode. Its power is obviously much greater. It doesn't use its claws immediately, but the moment it does, its power is shocking and earth-shaking. Luo Feng was trampled and killed immediately by the golden horned beast. So it's that way. Reviving again, Luo Feng felt an extreme sense of excitement. I know now how to train the golden horned beast in the future. Even with good natural talents, it didn't mean that every golden horned beast was at the same level of strength. In the following days, Luo Feng first went with Hong and Thunder God to purchase a plot of land within Black Dragon Mountain Island's 9-star bay, following his intentions to purchase several wooden houses. This would totally allow Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God's families to be able to live within them. After, Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God even sent a large number of consciousness-transmitting helmets to Earth. Luo Feng's family all loved it there. His parents enjoyed playing the virtual games, enjoying a perfect and comfortable life within the games. The two children Ping Ping and Little Hai were receiving Barbata's planned training methods, engaging in martial arts training amidst games and fun. The most excited, however, was undoubtedly his little brother Luo Hua. It's too advanced and magnificent. Earth's stock market, compared to the universe's banking and investment system, is like a drop of water in a vast ocean. Over here is truly a stockbroker's investment and trading heaven. Luo Hua was incomparably excited, requesting from Luo Feng 10 transmitter helmets, all for the sake of having several assistants. Since then, Luo Hua and his assistants stayed within a 3-story wooden house, analyzing the finance of the universe countries, and began investing. As for capital, Luo Feng back then had given Hong and Thunder God 500 million Ganwu dollars. Naturally, he wouldn't give his own little brother less, similarly giving 500 million Ganwu dollars. The virtual universe indeed could satisfy all of one's needs. Amidst the time spent, Luo Feng came to know from the surveillance system installed around the wormhole that a universe ship had passed through. Luo Feng estimated that it was from the Nwolan Shan family. However, to arrive on Earth would require another 2 years and 8 months. Luo Feng wasn't rushed or anxious. He was currently engaged in endless joy and fun. Third brother, you called me crazy, your big brother is the crazy one. The longest I've gone is 3 days in the killing fields without leaving. Look at your big brother, he actually hasn't left the killing fields space in 8 days consecutively, won't he ever get tired? Thunder God and Luo Feng were currently sitting at a corner of the killing fields hall, ordering some food and beverages. 99% of them are mercenaries. Haruo's gaze was serious. If I don't take a gamble, and become some small guard or soldier, constantly at others' beck and call, I'll regret it. If I have to be somebody, I'll go all out. If I want to live well free and easy, I have to risk it all. I have to battle. Yeah. Liu Leimu nodded his head seriously. Luo Feng and Thunder God glanced at each other. As the two of them were high above everyone within Earth, they didn't have any sort of pressure from others. Unlike Haruo and Liu Leimu, who had such heavy upbringing, the pressure from their living environment was much more than Luo Feng and the others. The heavy upbringing from the huge powers, with them spending large amounts of money and resources etc., if they didn't get a satisfactory result, the expelled and rejected heirs' fates definitely aren't good. Haruo, Liu Leimu, the trainee examinations. Are they that dangerous? Thunder God was suspicious. The Universe Mercenary Alliance. The ranks were separated into explorers, trainee mercenaries, 1-star mercenary, 2-star mercenary, and 3-star mercenary. Of which, the explorers weren't required to take any examination. All they had to do was to go sign up and they'd immediately become explorers. The trainee mercenaries were required to take the examination. The 1-star mercenaries too were required. Every rank required taking the exams. The trainee mercenary examination, one could immediately participate after reaching the star level. The failure and elimination percentage was extremely high. It's very dangerous. The big and sturdy Liu Leimu said softly from the side, his voice almost like it reverberated from within his chest out. The Universe Mercenaries. They are originally a job where one risks his life constantly, hence, as the entrance exam, the trainee mercenary exam aims to eliminate fighters and spirit readers who aren't fit to be mercenaries. The location of the exam is and has always been the excavated worlds of sector lords. Bulemu said, in a sector lord's world, the Universe Mercenary Alliance will construct several difficult and dangerous situations to eliminate a large amount of people. From the elimination process, if you are lucky, you'll survive, however the mortality rate is still very high. Sector Lord's world. Luo Feng was shocked. A domain lord's world, Luo Feng had researched and asked Barbata about it. Within the universe, a universe-level warrior was already a big shot, and a domain lord was able to unleash his own domain within reality itself. A domain lord's domain wasn't anything like Hong's or Thunder God's, it was tens of millions of times stronger. As for a sector lord, not just having an internal world, one was able to even create a new world. Within this world, many things could be customized and built according to the wishes of the sector lord. Hence, many impossible and physics-defying situations could be created. What are you talking about? A voice resounded. Suffered a heavy loss, Mr. Nwolan Shan. The two universe mercenaries looked at Nwolan Shan with confusion. Nwolan Shan took big strides towards Luo Feng. The two universe mercenaries followed behind. They were there following Nwolan Shan. After all, even amongst the universe-level warriors, there were differences in status. As a universe level 9, and having the status of Battle Axe Warrior, Nwolan Shan's status was naturally very high. Even though the hall was huge, there were still about 10,000 customers. A warrior with a huge axe medal on his chest along with two one-star mercenary warriors would definitely attract the gaze of many. The three walked swiftly towards Luo Feng. HM. Luo Feng's eyebrows creased. Military instructor. Huruo and Bulemu swiftly stood up. Hong and Thunder God looked suspiciously at Nwolan Shan, saying softly, Luo Feng, that man looks very similar to the Nwolan Shan family people. I'm afraid he's not friendly. Luo Feng squinted his eyes. Within a moment, battle boots slammed on the ground. The three universe-level warriors stood before Luo Feng's table. I see the two military instructors. Huruo and Bulemu said respectfully. HM, the two bald military instructors nodded slightly, looking over at Nwolan Shan. Nwolan Shan just stood there, surveying Luo Feng who was sitting before him, saying coldly, You are Luo Feng? Yes. Luo Feng looked at him. That planet is yours. Nwolan Shan asked this particular second sentence without mentioning the name of Earth. Luo Feng's lips curled into a smile. Yes. Sell it to me. Nwolan Shan's cold gaze stared hard at Luo Feng. Name a price. Luo Feng shook his head. 10 billion Ganwu dollars. Nwolan Shan said, There's no room for discussion. Luo Feng said without any hesitation, 100 billion Ganwu dollars. Nwolan Shan said, I said, there's no room for discussion. No matter what price you say, no deal. Luo Feng looked at Nwolan Shan, beside him Hong and Thunder God calmly looked at him. You are provoking me. Nwolan Shan squinted his eyes, staring just like a venomous snake at the youth. Young man, my temper isn't good, but today I'm giving you this chance. Give me the planet under your name, and all our feuds and debts will be settled. Give the planet to you. Luo Feng's lips curled into a smile. Is that possible? Earth was home to countless families to the humans of Earth. To others, it may seem that there could be a price that could be used to buy it, however to one of Earth, it was priceless. I apologize, I won't be treating you to a drink. Luo Feng raised his cup and downed the glass in one shot. Nwolan Shan's expression immediately grew even uglier. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God didn't even bother to look at him. Come on, big brother, second brother, cheers. Luo Feng lifted his glass. Come, cheers. Hong laughed, bottoms up. Thunder God said. The three totally treated the battle axe warrior Nwolan Shan, who was standing beside as nothing but empty space. If it were in reality, the three would probably have run far away the moment they spotted Nwolan Shan, escaping as far they could. However, in the virtual universe, what did they need to be afraid of? This Huruo and Bulemu looked at each other, not daring to make a sound. This wine is not bad. If it were in the real world, its price would be at least 100 times of this. Thunder God complimented, and it'd be really hard to get your hands on it. Hong said, there are so many good things about the virtual universe. Luo Feng complimented. Nwolan Shan's eye muscles twitched a few times, using a venomous gaze to sweep past the three at the table, suddenly scolding softly. Three disrespectful little brats. Luo Feng carried on, not looking at him. I'll let you all know, even in the virtual universe, you have to respect the strong. His right leg moved just like a huge scythe, slicing past the air, as fast as lightning, heading towards Luo Feng. You dare to make a move? Luo Feng roared softly, his body fiercely jolting backwards, at the same time using his left shoulder to block the leg. Peng! Nuolan Shan's right leg violently smashed into Luo Feng's shoulder. Luo Feng's entire body was immediately forced back a few steps, his eyes gleamed, staring at the wine and dishes etc. beside. The wine bottle, dishes all immediately floated up and flew over towards Nuolan Shan. Fight! Thunder God roared loudly. Thunder God's body softened and absorbed the impact, just like cotton candy, wrapping himself around Nuolan Shan's left leg and simultaneously getting prepared to use a binding killing technique. Soft methods. Nuolan Shan's expression changed slightly. Weng! The individual muscles within his left leg suddenly softened and collapsed, at the same time, just like a big slippery snake, slipping swiftly out of the binding hold. Rumble. A terrifying exploding sound. Hong's right leg was like a sharp cone piercing towards Nuolan Shan's head. Nuolan Shan smiled malevolently and rushed ahead instead, his body crouched a little lower, easily avoiding the kick. But Hong's right kick actually immediately hacked downwards, as it headed straight towards Nuolan Shan's head. Get lost. Nuolan Shan scolded, actually using his head to hit the leg. His neck suddenly seemed to have thickened by 2 or 3 layers. Get lost. Nuolan Shan shouted fiercely, his eyes raging. His arms seemed to suddenly expand and get bigger, at the same time having a peculiar piercing power, simultaneously dispersing Thunder God's palms, Hong's fists, and at the same time hitting the two on their chests, causing Hong and Thunder God to spit blood and fly backwards. Silence. Many people within the spacious hall of the killing fields looked over. Whatever we've destroyed, put it on my bill. Nuolan Shan yelled, before looking coldly at Luo Feng and the others. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God were extremely shocked. Usually against the same level of opponent, Luo Feng's spirit energy attacks could usually completely decimate the opponent. However, this time, without any spirit weapons in the huge hall, Luo Feng could only rely on attacking his mental capacity. However, it didn't seem to affect Nuolan Shan at all. And Hong and Thunder God, during the Great Nirvana, one was a master at martial arts, while the other was a yoga master and martial artist. The two were both extremely adept at close-hand battles, and this time they actually both lost to one person. One had to know, everyone's body build and spiritual force were of the same strength. This was the virtual universe, every single person's body build was exactly the same. Just you think you can use spirit energy to attack and defeat me? Nuolan Shan looked at the distant and clearly shocked Luo Feng, coldly laughing. In the Battle Axe Coliseum, if I couldn't deal with spirit attacks, how do you think I could have survived, much less win 1,000 battles and acquire the Battle Axe warrior status? Even though their spirit energy levels were similar, however the consciousness level, as a Battle Axe Universe level 9 warrior, his consciousness was indeed very strong. As for you two, don't think that just because we have similar bodies you can look down on a universe level warrior. Even with the same bodies, the strong can still easily subdue you too. Well said. The universe mercenary Kunxi shouted from beside. Right. Even in the virtual universe, the weak still have to respect the strong. Be it consciousness, skills, experience, unleashing of strength etc., these little brats are too far off. And they are arrogant. Immediately beside them, a few universe-level warriors began talking. Countless people looked on with weird gazes at Luo Feng and his two brothers. These 3 brats actually dared to disrespect universe levels. Respecting the strong in the universe was the most basic form of courtesy. They deserve it. They deserved to be taught a lesson. Many people began to chime in. Hong, Luo Feng and Thunder God's expressions were ice cold. Nuolan Shan. Luo Feng said coldly, respecting the strong is the most basic form of courtesy, but before, within the killing fields, I've never once offended the strong. However you scum, because of your greed, you've killed so many of my fellow race people, up to tens of millions. The humans of Earth had indeed lost many lives, because of the Nuolan Shan family. With multiple battles, the ones lost to the shockwaves and impacts were many. Along with the arrival of the Nuolan Shan family arrival causing the bases of the entire world to go into chaos, with all the robbing and riots, within the chaos, many more died, and you even wanted to use force to buy my planet. Killing my people, using force to buy my planet, and you still want me to respect you, bullshit. Dream on. Luo Feng lowered his head and spit fiercely. Nuolan Shan's expression kept changing. However, he had no way to refute, whatever Luo Feng said was indeed true. Many of the people with huge backgrounds around them came from the various continents of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, all nodded their heads. So it was like that. No wonder this group of youths actually fought it out with this battle-axe warrior. Oh, no wonder. This youth really has guts. The situation became clear to those around. With a feud between the two, it was natural that all forms of respect was thrown out the window. Nuolan Shan looked at Luo Feng, slightly nodding his head, a mouth that really knows how to speak. Big brother, second brother, let us go. Luo Feng waved, let's go. Hong said, people like these aren't worth our words. Thunder God joined in. Luo Feng and the other two headed straight towards the exit of the big hall. Nuolan Shan's expression was ashen, raging from within. However, he was indeed clear that he was eyeing Earth, eyeing its treasures, and since it was greed, he wasn't upright at all. And now, since he didn't wish to speak about the matter, because he didn't want anybody else to discover the treasures of Earth, Luo Feng. Nuolan Shan said coldly. Luo Feng turned to look at Nuolan Shan, smiling, Mr. Nuolan Shan, what other matters do you have? Just now when I fought you all, aren't you very dissatisfied? Nuolan Shan squinted his eyes, yes, I am. Luo Feng said coldly, you, a universe level 9 warrior, with experience, strength, consciousness, etc., all stronger than us, the battle wasn't even fair, and you think I'll be satisfied? I'll give you another chance. Nuolan Shan snorted softly. I'll find 3 underlings of the same level and grade as you all to fight on 3 different battlefields. As long as out of the 3 battles, you are able to win 1 battle, then you'll be considered the winners of this entire gamble. I'll give you 10 billion Ganwu dollars. However, if you all don't even win 1 battle, you give me your planet. A gambling battle is fine, but the bet being the planet. No way. Luo Feng looked at Nuolan Shan. Nuolan Shan was extremely enraged, to the point he grinded his teeth. This Luo Feng, he valued this Earth far too much. Did this Luo Feng not know, even though it had the automaton ship and such level of treasures, with Luo Feng's background, the moment he took it out, it would be snatched away by others, immediately exchanging it for 100 billion Ganwu dollars. He wasn't even willing, it's 100 billion Ganwu dollars. He was really hoping beyond all hope to acquire the rights to Earth, that way, even if he couldn't excavate all the treasures of Earth, he could still auction off the planet, selling off all the treasures in one go. With the rights to the planet, conducting all the businesses would be a lot more convenient. There wouldn't be a need to sneakily send 2 universe levels to invade Earth. This sort of action was called theft. And the thing that Nuolan Shan was most worried about was that Luo Feng had already claimed the rights from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, meaning that the families of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire knew how to head towards Earth. Nuolan Shan was afraid that those big families would start having interest towards Earth, sending armies through the wormhole and towards Earth. After all, the Nuolan Shan family was only the 3rd family in the Kaluo Empire. And the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's critical people within the bigger families, usually the founders, were all sector lords. If that level of family were to intervene, his Nuolan Shan family wouldn't stand a chance at all. Within the Hall of the Killing Fields, Nuolan Shan watched as Luo Feng and the other 2 left, eyes ice cold. The 2 bald universe mercenaries from North Dragon City walked over, of which Kunxi even laughed, Mr. Nuolan Shan, that Luo Feng and his party are just 3 brats that aren't worth getting angry over. If Mr. Nuolan Shan is unhappy, we'll find a chance, and go destroy his real body in reality if need be, right? Mr. Nuolan Shan, from what I see, we'd better first head into the battle space. The other bald universe mercenary persuaded. Hold on a moment, Nuolan Shan said coldly, turning to look at the not too far off Bulemu and Haruo, the 2 of you, come here. Us? Haruo with the pale skin and red hair, along with the huge and sturdy black man Bulemu glanced at each other, their hearts palpitating with fear. The powerful warrior that even their 2 instructors, who had to butter up to, was looking for them. If he wanted to kill them it would be too simple. Haruo groaned under his breath, Luo Feng, you've really screwed us over. We greet Mr. Nuolan Shan. Haruo and Bulemu said respectfully, what's the number of his virtual universe account? Haruo and Bulemu were slightly shocked, hesitating for a moment. However, staring straight 2 universe-level military instructors along with a battle-axe warrior, the 2 could only lower their heads and exchange glances. Finally, Haruo said softly, Sir, Luo Feng's virtual universe number is... Haruo reported a long account number, okay. Nuolan Shan turned to leave straight after hearing it. The 2 bald universe mercenaries followed behind. Milky Way, Earth. The Westlake courtyard was fully rebuilt. Also Luo Feng had installed a special highest D1 grade level castle within the universe. Around this castle were planet surveillance systems and security. This was the center. The entire solar system's many surveillance satellites, defense systems, etc. were mostly controlled from here. Within the castle, a 7-story planet control room, master. Around the dark space wormhole area, there have been 3 groups that have entered. The first is a D3 grade ship, the second is a D1 grade ship, while the third is a C8 grade ship. Luo Feng stood within the main control room of the Earth defense system. Before him a huge floating screen was separated into 3 scenes, each showing a different universe ship. This scene caused Luo Feng to slightly crease his eyebrows, pondering over the situation. These 3 groups of people should be from 3 different groups. According to the levels of the ships, we can deduce the strength and levels. The first batch, there's a high possibility that there's a universe-level warrior. The second batch is probably a group of elite star levels, or a universe level. The third batch is most probably a group of star levels. Luo Feng did the deduction swiftly within his mind. Ever since he made the request to become Earth's leader, the only way to head towards Earth was through the wormhole and traveling through space for 2 years and 8 months. This method was definitely known by the Empire. Hence, there would be other powers sending little scout teams over. This too was within his calculations. Luo Feng, you have new mail in the virtual universe network. Oh, connect to the virtual universe. On Black Dragon Mountain Island, 9-star bay, people mostly built along the bay, or the protruding small mountain range to build their extravagant villas, all customizing according to their wishes. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God had also bought a piece of land along a river, constructing the building mainly using wood. First young master, this move is really beautiful. Second young master, you should be kicking at this time. Uncle Meng too, when can I actually enter the inner sect? Very soon, just train a little more and it'll happen. Within a 3-story wooden pavilion, 2 young black Mongolian youths were currently engaged in teaching Luo Feng's 2 children Ping Ping and Little Hai. Luo Feng suddenly appeared and the 2 children looked surprised over, Daddy. Luo Ping and Luo Hai, under the permission of Luo Feng, were specially sent into the virtual universe by Barbata to play the virtual games. These were games that secretly had beneficial effects on their learning through fun. With regards to their body's abilities to expand energy skills, etc., even though they were just children. However, his own 2 children were many times stronger than back when he lived in a rental apartment before. Also, Luo Feng had used a few evolution treasures during their conception period. This was commonly seen in big families in the universe. These all made Luo Hai and Luo Ping, who were only at the age of 4, to be intermediate-level warriors. On Earth, this was indeed shocking, however in the universe, it was common and normal. Who's male? Luo Feng sat on a nearby chair, with a thought. A screen floated before him, swiftly pulling up the mail. It's actually an anonymous number. It's probably that Nuolan Shan knew I wouldn't negotiate with him, and decided to just send a mail over. Luo Feng was intrigued and curious about the details of the mail, reading over it carefully. The mail was very long, explaining in detail about the dangers and evils of the universe, warning Luo Feng about the great dangers of bringing out the automaton ship in the universe. 10 birds in the forest do not equate to 1 in hand. The automaton ship was expensive, however without being alive to spend the money, it would be better to just exchange it for some rewards now. This Nuolan Shan is so well off. Luo Feng looked at the large amounts of offers and conditions from Nuolan Shan. This time he didn't want to buy Earth, but to actually share control to govern Earth. The 2 would function through shares. Luo Feng would be the main stockholder, maintaining his leader status. The Nuolan Shan family would have the smaller status. At the same time, the automaton ship would be given to the Nuolan Shan family. This way the Nuolan Shan family could continue to do many things. Stockholders govern Earth together. And all they want is the automaton ship. Luo Feng rubbed his chin. Don't give it to them. Luo Feng, the Yunmo planet ship is already damaged. The conditions required to repair it is extremely hard. And when you get stronger, you'd be able to take the automaton ship. From that, you can live easy. Barbata said, the automaton race's technology level far exceeds that of the human race. Don't ever agree to that Nuolan Shan. Earth's treasures, this automaton ship itself, can be said to be your future trump card. I understand. Luo Feng nodded. Following that, he proceeded to delete the mail that Nuolan Shan had carefully arranged for his underlings to write in detail with much allure. At that time, Luo Feng, Heruo and Bulemu requests a call. Answer. Luo Feng flew out into the wooden building's third floor. A screen floated before him. On it was the skinny and frail-looking Hero along with the strong and sturdy Bulemu. Luo Feng, my apologies. I've given your virtual universe account number to Mr. Nguyen Shan. It shouldn't affect you that much, right? Hero said. Beside him Bulemu said, we also just received the call to order. We are leaving immediately to take part in the Universe Mercenary Probation exams. We'll see you when we return. Wish that we'll be able to return alive. Yep. Hero too smiled. All the best. Luo Feng raised a fist. If you come back alive, then I'll forget about you ever revealing my virtual universe number. Ha. Hero laughed. Right, Luo Feng. I've always seen you three brothers up till now only entering in the killing field slaughter space. If you have time, go check out the battle space. It's a little more meaningful than the slaughter space. Battle space. Luo Feng was slightly stunned. Okay, I'll check it out. Earth had been secured and protected by Luo Feng, and was well fortified. Also, through the slave market he even bought another 29 star level 9 slaves, along with the 7 surviving star level 9 slaves from before. They formed a group of 36 elite. And according to the level of security systems around the planet, it could be said that as long as it wasn't someone or something from the universe, everything else could be easily settled. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God immersed themselves in their training. Killing fields. So the battle space is like that. Looking at the introduction, compared to the slaughter space, it is indeed interesting. Luo Feng and the others stood at the front counter of the killing field's big hall, looking at the screen footage introduction of the space. The slaughter space was made specifically for one person to use at a time. In it, one could specify one's opponent. It was the best training tool. And the battle space was where real fighters and warriors could battle against each other. The people they fought were two real humans, not just virtual simulations. And the amount of credit consumed for using the battle space was only 1/10 of the slaughter space. I'm a star level 1, right now I can only pick an opponent of the same level. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God sat in a corner of the killing field's big hall. There were screens floating before them, on it appeared many opponents, and introductions of their strengths and powers. If you wanted to battle, you'd first have to send out a request and invite the opponent to battle. Haha, third brother, big brother. Look, this person actually calls himself the number 1 exponent, but has only won 21 and lost 921 times. His ranking remains as 1 star. Within the battle space, one could easily give himself any name. This was for the sake of the renowned or powerful people to conceal their identities, should they want to train. These sort of business places naturally adhered to their clients' requests and adapt to their every whim. I can only pick someone of the same level now. Luo Feng's gaze swept past the rankings, ignoring the 5-star ones and looking straight at the 6-star and 7-star opponents. The entire ranking system, the highest rank was 9 stars, that was the strongest warrior of the same level. Over this month, I've already reached the soaring shuttle's 5th layer of control. I'll choose a 7-star opponent and give it a shot. Luo Feng formally sent out the request. This was the first time for Luo Feng to battle against an opponent of the same level and grade. 1 second, 2 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Damn, I picked a 6-star opponent. There's actually no reply, he's ignoring me. Thunder God stared hard. My opponent is ignoring me too. Luo Feng said helplessly, Big brother, what about you, big brother? Thunder God looked at Hong too. Hong rubbed his nose, saying solemnly, I picked a 9-star star traveler level 9. I feel that I should be able to battle with him. However, the battle request was immediately rejected. The system reported that a 9-star warrior has the power to set a limitation. Only 7 stars and above are able to request for a battle with him. Luo Feng and Thunder God blinked hard. The 3 brothers, this was the first time they wanted to spar with others, and yet they were all looked down upon. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.